Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Floor mic, floor mic.
So Deborah wants to just center the table. Don't say my name. Don't say. Oh, centering is good. What is this? Under the freaking. Okay.
Our aesthetic consultants.
Go ahead. Just push the table.
Which way?
That.
Is that enough?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Deborah, is that enough? Three plus. We didn't touch it. We just moved the table underneath this table. There was a whole list. There was a whole list of things down there still lost. There's still. I know that we all
Testing captions.
Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Brookline, a Unitarian Universalist congregation welcoming of all. Today we are gathering on Imbolc, the traditional Gaelic festival that marks the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. I know it is hard to believe, but we are halfway through winter, guys. At First Parish, we seek to make a safe home for everyone to bring their authentic, vulnerable selves and connect together as we explore life's mysteries. My name is Elizabeth McIntyre. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your worship associate this morning. Our service will be led by our interim minister, Reverend Joe Cherry. If you are new, or if this is your first time at First Parish, we extend a special welcome to you this morning. We invite everyone to join us at our social hour after the service in the Peterson Room. In your order of service this morning, you will find an insert that has a calendar of upcoming events, along with some other information we hope you will find useful. I'd like to especially draw your attention to an event happening today. Susan Larrabee and Ann Copeland would like to invite everyone to attend a second Death Cafe at 12:30 p.m. today in the Dana Room. At this event, we will continue to explore our questions about death, our fears, our hopes, our spiritual thoughts, and whatever else attendees to our small group conversations. All are welcome. We also have an announcement from our bass section leader, Jonathan Moats.
Hello, everyone. My name is John. I use he, him pronouns, and yes, I am the bass leader. I just wanted to ask you all this morning a couple questions. Who here is a music lover? Great. And in particular, I think a lot of us love music on the piano, correct? Whether we fall asleep to it or whether we use it to just soothe us or whatever, or we like listening to Keith play or anything like that. And I think a composer that means a lot to me is Claude Debussy, and that's a name that I'm sure all of you or most of you recognize. Fun fact, he actually wrote an opera. He didn't like opera a lot. He hated those Italians and the way they did opera. So he said, I'll do it better. And he wrote one, and then none other. He said, that one's perfect. And it just so happens that I will be performing that opera with my colleagues at the Boston Conservatory this upcoming week on Thursday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. It's a rich, lush score, and instead of the orchestra, we are doing an abridged version that has two pianos. So you're going to have tons of Debussy piano, rich, lush score, and maybe you'll hear me sing along with it, which is really, really fun. It's a dramatic piece full of emotions. I would say not suitable for small children, but anyone, I would say 12 and up, would love it. So if you're interested in that, it is this weekend, Thursday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. at Boston Conservatory. If you have questions, you can ask me or look on the website, okay? Thanks, everyone.
Yes, and we have another announcement. Reverend Eliza.
I'm here behind the bushes, Eliza Shearer. These gorgeous flowers, one of many contributions to last night's festivities. Thank everybody who contributed food, drink, time, talent, treasure, lots of talent in the room. Thank you, musicians. We do love music here. And all of you who were brave the cold or who were able to attend. That's number one. Number two, Opong is not here today, so if you could spare 15 or 20 minutes before you leave and help just clean up from social hour, that'd be great. And three, regarding last night's event, Sharon asked that we have pictures of Pierce Hall. If we had pictures of Pierce Hall, could we please? Oh, okay. she would gratefully accept photographs of the room as it decorated so gorgeously for an event for our rental part of our website. So you could make sure she gets those. And obviously, if you took pictures last night, share them. Everybody loves a fun photograph or video of a very special, very fun event. Thank you.
Once again, welcome one and all to First Parish this morning. It is a blessing to be together.
So before I call us into worship, I have my own announcement, and that is, it's nothing personal, but I'll be running out the door as soon as church is over today, because I have a concert in Randolph, and the baton drops at 2 o'clock. So I will be running as soon as we're done, okay? It's not you, it's me. It is so good to see you here this morning. Everybody, new, related to people here all the time, people I see all the time. We gather today as a people of faith, as we have been gathering for 309 years. In easy times and hard times, this church has gathered. Though the faces and personalities have changed over the centuries, one thing has remained constant. We gather. Not even the address has been constant, but still we gather. We come to care for neighbors. We come to be cared for. We come together. Some of us have been gathering here for decades. And I had a couple of people in mind when I wrote that line, like Sheila and other folks who've been here a long time. And for some people, this is their first time joining us. No matter how many times you sat in our pews, be they chairs or actual pews, you are equally welcome here. As we enter our time in worship, may you find something here that you needed. I'd like to invite you to come together to sing our opening hymn called Meditation on Breathing with a personal note. The Reverend Ian Riddell, who wrote this hymn, is an old friend of mine. We were friends before each of us decided to go to seminary, in fact. This week, Ian's mom, Donna Riddell, died. And he doesn't know we're singing this song this morning, but please sing it with an intentional and tender care so that healing energy may not only flow between us, but into the world for all those who are hurting. Thank you. Please rise in body and spirit as you're able.
Thank you, Reverend Joe, for that beautiful anecdote and centering as we sing this song together. For those who have been coming a long time, you know that this song is divided into 3 parts, and we are going to divide ourselves into these 3 parts today. So I'm going to ask this group that's right in front of me here, you're going to sing this drone part that if you're holding your hymnal is the one at the bottom. And our tenors and basses over here are going to help you with that and lead us with that. This group in the middle, you're going to be our melody. That's the middle line. And I'll indicate to you when we are going to come in. And over here, you are the descant line, the top line, and I'll indicate over here when you should join in. So let's start with this drone. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. Let's keep that going. And let's get ready, melody. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, And here we go, top line. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Thank you, everyone.
I invite Rebecca Nima to come light our chalice this morning. Please join me in reading our community's covenant found in your order of service, first in Spanish and then in English. Nos entregamos y nos comprometemos a caminar juntos como congregación, prometiendo con mucha fe cuidarnos mutuamente y deleitarnos en el amor que permanecerá entre nosotros. We give ourselves one unto another, covenanting to walk together as a congregation, promising faithfully to watch over one another and to delight for love to abide in our midst.
Good morning. Today, I want to tell a story about a community being strong together. This community, a long time ago in 1850. Back in 1850, there was a couple who lived here named William and Ellen Craft. They were very brave and they had escaped from slavery. At that time, escaping from slavery was against the law. So the government sent 2 slave catchers here to this community to capture William and Ellen. This was really scary. But they knew that they weren't alone. They had friends, a lot of friends, including Reverend Theodore Parker, who was a Unitarian minister. And Reverend Parker and William and Ellen gathered all the people of this town around them to build a plan to protect their neighbors. They hid William and Ellen in a house right here on Walnut Street in Brookline. And they decided to do more than that. They decided to stand together and fight and resist. I think that our community is a lot now like it was back then. I think that we form a shield of protection for each other. I know that when I'm on my own, if somebody comes and tries to push me over at a protest or something like that, that I can't do much on my own. But I know that if I stand with somebody else, I'm stronger. Reverend Joe, can you come help show me what it looks like to stand with somebody else in strength? This is something people do at protests to protect one another. And I want us to practice feeling that in our bodies today. So you can stand if you want, or you can stay seated, but take the arm of someone next to you, and I want you to link arms together as a community right now. if you can't for some reason, just try to send strength to the person next to you and feel that strength that the person is sending back to you. When the slave catchers came, this community stood strong against them. They resisted at every turn. And after a few days, they realized they couldn't win. The slave catchers turned around, they went home. Ellen and William were safe. They were never arrested. I want us to remember that lesson of strength as we move into our religious education classes. Thank you.
For our centering moment today, we will engage in a community chant of Om. Our intention with this chant is to remember our embodied wisdom. When times are hard and stressful, our bodies know how to calm down and relax. The vibrations from chanting stimulate the vagus nerve, which runs from the brainstem through your chest and into your gut. This nerve plays a key role in calming your nervous system and reducing stress. Chanting also moves your brain out of busy mode, beta waves, and into slower, more relaxed alpha and theta waves. Finally, the long, steady exhale encourages your body to shift from fight and flight into rest and digest. Before we do this, Reverend Joe and I each have a story about the power of chanting that we wanted to share with you. This past Christmas, I was very fortunate to be at my brother's house in Maine, very snowy Maine, very much like right now, very cold, very snowy, and he got a sauna, rented a mobile sauna at the house. It was really fun. And so we had a blast going into the sauna, getting nice and warm, going out into 20 inches of fresh powder, getting really cold. And I noticed how after I did a big snow angel and I came back into the sauna, my nervous system was so, that all I could do was start chanting. It just happened. And then I was doing it with my brothers, with their partners. And there we were in the heat, having just experienced the cold, and we were chanting together, and I could feel every molecule of my body vibrating. And then I could feel every molecule of my body vibrating with their bodies. And there was this, from the franticness all the way down into this really beautiful state of connection.
So my story happened in Cleveland Heights. There was a sandwich shop owned by a man on Taylor, maybe 8 blocks from where I lived, and he had gone out to run some errands, and his 14-year-old nephew agreed to stay at the store for him. And while the young 14-year-old was minding the store, it had gotten robbed. And the man who robbed the store shot and killed the 14-year-old. It was very upsetting. And so the interfaith clergy group there, which is not as skillful or as experienced as the group here in Brookline, decided to get together. So I called a meeting at the UU Church, because that's neutral ground. And we decided what kind of plan we wanted to do. We decided we wanted to have across from the sandwich shop was a park. So we called for a giant gathering of everyone at the park. Now, to these folks, interfaith meant that there would be, three kinds of Christian and a rabbi who read something from the Old Testament. And I said, these folks are Hindu. They don't want to be saved by you. So I said we should do an Om, which none of them had done before. And so on this warm spring day, 300 of us in the park just began to sing the Om together out in nature with the family who was grieving. And it was so connecting to us. And when we were talking about this moment together, we decided that there are two sides of connecting we can share with you. The beauty of the sharing and kind of the desperation of the sharing. And so we would like to invite you into a moment of Om, and Elizabeth's going to lead this next part.
So I invite you to just feel your feet on the ground. We're going to stay seated. You can have your eyes open or closed, whatever feels most comfortable. And we're just going to chant Om together for about 3 minutes. As we do that, just notice the vibration in your own body. Notice the vibration of the people around you. Notice how you feel when you really intentionally exhale. And when our time has come to its end, Reverend Joe will ring the bowl.
We're going to continue in this spirit of embodying participatory worship, and I'm inviting all of you to join the choir in this next song. So the words are just what's written in your order of service, Om Mani Padme Um. Can I hear you all say that? Om Mani Padme Um. Our choir is going to sing a phrase, and I'm going to invite you to repeat it back.
From the Wisdom of Your Body by Hilary McBride. Embodiment is feeling a sense of positive connection or being at one with our body. We feel power and agency in our physicality, and we sense that we are not just observing our bodies from the outside, but living through them from the inside out. Disembodiment is the experience of disconnection from our body. When this happens, our body is the place where we feel disempowered and restricted, as well as lacking in competence, safety, and presence. Becoming embodied again is slow work. It is compassionate instead of perfectionistic, communal instead of individualistic, process-oriented instead of achievement-oriented, and mutual instead of hierarchical. Where there has been dissociation, we want association, weaving back together parts that were never meant to separate. We need to reclaim every shattered fragment of our body to experience wholeness. As with any long-term partnership characterized by trust, deep connection, and mutual support, developing our ability to trust ourselves as a body does not happen overnight. There are misunderstandings, repairs of those misunderstandings, adventures, discoveries, and the bliss of finding a rhythm. Developing a trusting relationship with our body is a lot like building a relationship with another person. It requires a million little choices and tiny experiments to help us know we are in good hands with ourselves. This is the time in our service when we invite your generosity to help pay for the good work of this community of faith and hope. Our offering will now be gratefully received.
On behalf of the parish board, I would like to thank the congregation for these gifts, and we pledge to use this gift in accordance with the values of the congregation.
Before the sun was up Wednesday morning, I was awake. This is not so unusual for me. I'm kind of an early riser. The snow that had fallen earlier in the week lay heavy on the roof of our porch. The wind was still. The traffic was still. Even the trees outside the window seemed to be holding their breath. I sat on the couch with our little dog curled up against me, pretending she was protecting me, when in truth she was just really stealing my body heat. She was still. The house was still. The world, for a few rare moments, was still. My mind was not. And so I sat there in the pre-dawn quiet for over an hour, trying to find some way to bring myself together, to let spirit and body recognize each other again, to remember that my thoughts are not the whole of me. I wanted stillness to descend on me like grace. Instead, I kept meeting my own restlessness. I noticed my breath. I breathed deep in and deep out. I listened to the sound of my heartbeat. I noticed the weight of the dog on my lap. I noticed a slight discomfort in my back from sitting too long without moving. I wanted transcendence. What I got was gravity. And somewhere in that very unmystical inventory of sensations was the beginning of a prayer. It can be hard to live as a whole self. Mind runs ahead, spirit reaches upward, body lags behind, tired, tight, carrying old fear and new worries in the shoulders and in the gut. And yet, in times like these especially, it is so very important to connect them again. To feel your feet on the ground of our own lives, to inhabit the bodies that will have to do the work that love is asking of us. Today we sat together sounding a single long tone together, one long shared Om. Not a performance, not a hymn with verses to remember or analyze, just vibration. If you noticed, that sound did not stay in your mouth. It traveled through your jaw and your throat into your chest. Some of you may have felt it in your ribs or your belly or even your legs and feet. And as others around you sang, their voices entered your body too, through the air, through vibrations, through the seat, through the floor. For a moment, we were not just thinking together, we were resonating together. This is embodiment. Resilience begins here, not as an idea, but as a sensation. Breath moving, sound vibrating, bodies present to one another. We live in a culture that trains us to do almost everything from the neck up. We plan justice actions from spreadsheets and emails. We argue it in comment threads. We announce it in carefully crafted statements. And all of that has a place. But justice that lives only in the mind can grow brittle. Abstract justice cannot carry real people for very long. It cannot carry grief for long. It cannot withstand fear for long. It cannot keep loving when the news is bad again and again and again, and yet again this morning. The work of justice ultimately asks us something of us, of our bodies. It asks us to show up, to stand in the cold, to sit in long meetings, to relish the joy of children in the hallway yelling during a very serious sermon. If we are not home in our bodies, that work will either burn us out or harden us over. The poet and activist Audre Lorde once wrote, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation." Not escape from it, but fuel for it. To breathe deeply in the midst of turmoil is not avoidance, it is preparation. To unclench the jaw is not to surrender, it is choosing not to let hatred live rent-free in your muscles. To feel vibration, the vibration of your own voice in your chest is to remember that you are not an idea floating through history. You are a living body, and living bodies make change. Resilience is not the absence of disturbance. It is the practice of returning again and again to inhabit ourselves when our minds would rather flee into anxiety about future or despair about the past. On that snowy morning, the porch roof held the weight of all that snow because it was built to bear the weight. Resilient communities are like my porch. They do not deny the storm. They do not simply wish the snow away. They are simply well rooted enough to hold what has fallen. To be rooted is to be here, in this breath, in these bones, in this imperfect, aging, beautiful body. That last line was especially hard to write. Not waiting for a better body before we do the work. Not waiting until we feel less tired, less scared, and more certain. This body, your body. That small, ordinary separation I felt in my couch that morning, mind racing ahead of body, has been made into a way of life for many people by the world itself. Systems of injustice have long tried to pull people out of their bodies, to make some bodies disposable, some invisible, some suspect, some controlled. For some reason, this has meant being told the truth of their body, of their own body, could not possibly be true. For some, that was a very complicated sentence. I'm going to say it again. Sorry. For some, this means that they were told that their own body could not possibly be the truth. Many transgender people speak of the resilience it takes to live long enough to see their inner knowledge and outer form come into alignment. As Janet Mock writes, telling our stories to ourselves and then to the world is a revolutionary act. Sometimes that story is written in the courage to let one's visible body finally tell the truth it has always held. For many disabled people, resilience is not overcoming the body, but insisting the world meet the body as it is. As Stella Young reminded us, no amount of smiling at a flight of stairs turns it into a ramp. Justice is not asking bodies to disappear their needs. It is transforming our shared structures so that every body can belong. I know a small piece of the struggle myself. As a child, I wore a rigid back brace along my torso for 23 hours a day, 8 years. I watched parents quietly teach their children not to stare at me. I was told not to climb trees or fences because my body was too risky, too breakable. I learned very early how tempting it is to disappear from your own body. And I learned slowly how powerful it is to come back. That, too, is resilience. Refusing to abandon yourself even when your body feels at times like an adversary or a burden or a public spectacle. When we sound a tone together and feel it vibrate through us, we enact a small rebellion against separation. We remember that change is not only thought, it is breath shared. It is voices overlapping. It is nervous systems settling in one another's presence. Love, as Bell Hooks reminded us, is an action. And action happens in bodies. Embodying resilience, which is our theme for the month, means building lives that can bear weight because they are anchored in sensation and connection. It means noticing your breath before you raise your voice, feeling your feet before you take a stand, letting your shoulders drop so your heart has room to open. It means resting without shame so that you can return without resentment. It means allowing joy to move your face into a smile even in hard seasons, because joy is not a betrayal of the struggle. It is proof that the struggle has something worth saving. That morning, I never did achieve perfect stillness. I stayed. And in that staying, mind and spirit slowly remembered the body that was carrying them. So when we sing, when we march, when we pray, when we do work for a more just world, may we not abandon our bodies at the door. May we feel the vibration of our shared voices in our bones. May we remember the generations of people before us and with us who are in the struggle alongside us. May we resonate with one another strongly enough to bear the weight of this moment. And from that rooted, breathing, resonant place, may we do the work that love requires. Amen. Please come together to sing Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 in the Gray Hymnal.
Please join me in our unison affirmation as Reverend Joe extinguishes our chalice. Apagamos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, ni al calor de la comunidad, ni al fuego del compromiso. Estos los llevamos con nosotros y los ofrecemos para bendecir al mundo. We extinguish this flame, and not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry with us and offer as gifts unto the world.
As we leave our time together, remember that you, whether you are new here or have been coming here for so long, you are part of a larger body, part of a group of people working together to manifest love in this world. And to be a strong part of that group, you must take care of yourself. You must take care of yourself. Remember, a body cared for, a body united is a stronger body. Care, unite, and be strong. Amen.